You are listening to Unscripted Moments, a podcast about propaganda. Welcome to the fourth episode of the 11-part miniseries on A Catastrophic Break with Consensus Reality, the record featuring Chris Hanna and friends. On this episode, Chris and I discuss A Wreck in Progress, originally by SNFU from the 2001 In the Meantime and In Between Time LP. Just a quick reminder that Mark Belke from SNFU appeared as a guest on this podcast on March 20th, 2021 to discuss Propaganda's contributions to the song Hail Bop from the A Blessing But With It a Curse EP, which is made up of songs left over from the Meantime sessions. So Chris and I chat a lot about SNFU and his rendition of A Wreck in Progress, and then Darren Achorn joins me to comment on the process of playing drums on this tune. So remember, there are three ways to enjoy this series. First, you can listen to each song individually with Chris and the guests. You can listen to a 1-hour version with just me and Chris and no guests. And you can also listen to the full 4.5-hour jumbo edition that includes all of Chris's commentary and all guest interviews in the order of the record. Without further delay, please enjoy our conversation on A Wreck in Progress. Because Darren plays on the next tune, Wreck in Progress, by SNFU originally.
Some invisible saint has the final say as to how and when we leave this place. Ancient monks have often said, if you take your own life, you must live it again. But daylight ain't the best time for souls to take flight. It's so easy to decide.
And Chris, Meantime is my favorite SNFU record. And
Me too.
I gotta ask you why specifically, because I came to SNFU long after they had broken up, basically. But you didn't. So why is this your favorite SNFU record?
That's a good question.
Besides the fact that it's amazing and it rocks.
Yeah. Well, I think because they have a number of records that are amazing and rock throughout the years, and records that are considered, absolute classics, especially in Western Canadian punk circles. I think on this record, I felt like Chai Pig really uncovered a part of himself that I had sensed on previous records, but not to this degree. I feel like there was something obviously honest in what Chai Pig was putting out there, and it was sad and hopeful. And like throughout the whole record lyrically, I guess there's that sense of sad/hopeful going on. And I guess because it was happening in conjunction with this kind of lightning in a bottle kind of chemistry with Mark Belke's riffs, that I found it exceptionally moving. Like so many evocative moments on the record for me, that I think the record just sometimes floors me. I've enjoyed almost all of their previous output, but I was never moved as much as I was by any of their previous records compared to this one.
Yeah. And I know that you've talked about this elsewhere, but you guys had the chance to release this record on G7, didn't you?
We did. Yeah. And we didn't do it.
How do you feel about that now?
Well, for a number of years, I called it one of my greatest regrets of G7. But looking back now, G7 was, I don't know if we knew it at the time. We probably had a sense of it, but we were nearing the end of maintaining our enthusiasm for putting records out.
Yeah.
So in retrospect, it would have been a big fucking bummer to leave SNFU hanging, after putting the record out. So I guess now I'm glad I got to enjoy it strictly as a super fan, and not somebody who felt responsible for whether or not it did well from a sales perspective for the band.
Sure. What did you enjoy the most about making this version of Wreck in Progress with Paul Yee on bass and Darren Achorn on drums? Tell me about this adaptation of yours.
Well, I guess again, recording with Darren was a really fun experience for me. I don't know if you probably do know this from talking to him, but he used to be in a band called Sandfly Fever back in the day, and they were one of the bands. There was probably 3 bands that we played a lot with back in those days, and that was one of those bands when we were getting started. And from the get-go, I think everybody in our band admired the way Darren played drums, and he loves playing drums, and he makes what he does seem really effortless. And he's a music lover, and on this track, he killed it. And in some ways, it reminded me, like, if you told me, if you played this track to me and told me it was Jord playing, I'd be like, oh yeah, that sounds about right. Except, he's dishing out a different vibe. But I don't know, something about that Beyond the Process was really fun to me, that I could hear a certain spirit in his playing that was familiar to me and that I really, really appreciate.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's hear from Darren. Darren has a few more comments all about his time working with you for this tune. So here's Darren Achorn again talking about Wreck in Progress by SNFU and the adaptation he did with Chris. The first one I want to chat about is the SNFU cover, Wreck in Progress, from their 2004 record, In the Meantime and In Between Time. And so I'm curious about, how SNFU, the band, fits into your life. Do you have any sort of interests in SNFU in general? Tell me about this band.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best, if not the best, Canadian punk bands ever. I was lucky enough to see them several times in Winnipeg growing up, and best frontman ever.
Yeah.
Winnipeg, Belky Brothers. Belky Brothers and Ted Sims were probably my favorite lineup of the band. Ted Sims is a local Winnipeg guy. I don't know if you know.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's the drummer. He played on one record, Better Than a Stick in the Eye. And fuck, that band just kicked major ass back in the day. And
amazing.
Yeah. And so just a love for the band. Chris was obviously at all those shows as well. All of us were. And so I think he just knew that would be a great fit for him and what he had to say about the song and the band, and it lined up with me as well. And at that time, I won't get into the song yet, but yeah. Unless you want to go into the song.
Yeah, well, let's chat about the song too. Tell me your thoughts on the original, because this is from a record with only Mark Belky on this record, and it's I think probably kind of overlooked. It's like post Epitaph years, but honestly, this record to me is perfect front to back. And I know that Chris loves this record as well. Tell me your thoughts on the original tune, your thoughts on In Between Time, or In the Meantime and In Between Times. Tell me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, fantastic record. I actually, like, the first 3 records of SNFU were my thing. I kind of lost interest after the first 3. when Chris brought up, and I heard all the records, but the first three records are SNFU to me. Got back in it later in life, in and out of it, and followed them. But I just actually seeing them live without both Belky brothers and Ted Sims just broke me. It just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Because that live band was just great. But a Wreck in Progress for me. Lots of shit going on in life at the time. Chris had asked me to, or brought up that song, and it just fit perfectly. And getting old and seeing people pass away and your body start failing you and all those old man stuff. It was just an awesome combination at the time. So it just got me motivated to, let's rock this shit. And it was great.
Amazing. Well, I want to hear some, the story of recording this tune, like where you recorded it, who put down the tracks. Like, tell me the process behind putting this one down on tape.
It was JP, John Paul, and Chris and I in the studio. That's it. There was no bass players. I know. Did Chris play bass in that?
I believe he did. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Chris. Yeah. So it's whatever I had going through my monitor at the time was pre-recorded, and I just went along with what I was listening to. JP was great at the studio. Private Ear, is that the studio we were at?
Yeah.
So we went in and I don't know how long it took, 3 takes, a couple takes, and laid it down, and it was just awesome. And Chris did a fantastic job at that song vocally. It just, there's something with Chris over the years, seeing Propaganda on stage live a billion times and appreciating what you're seeing. And then I think later on in life, as an adult, learning about world issues, diving into your own paths to take in life and what you want to do, and whether it's learning about human rights, animal rights, whatever. All of a sudden, soaking that in as an adult, going to see them live, listening to the lyrics, it's just amazing for me, and continues to be. And getting back to the song, listening to him sing those lyrics, just crushing, and just so energizing for me as a drummer to play along with this guy.
Amazing. Did you get to like watch him do any tracking or anything like that? Were you there for the whole thing?
No, not at all. I came in, played drums for the most part. Those two were in the window, just giving me fists up in the air, and that's it.
Yeah.
We chatted, but I mean, he was doing recording elsewhere.
I love this, the lyrics to this one as well, too. It's like, I mean, these lines, there's so many good ones, and you're beaten down by the pouring rain. At least it rinses off the mortal pain.
Absolutely.
Oh man, it's just genius. And then it's so easy to lose sight of the good things in life. Like when I was listening to this song this morning, I actually went on Twitter and I tweeted that line. It's so easy to lose sight of the good things in life, because it is. And here, Chai Pig singing that, knowing that the really hard life that Chai Pig led, reminding me, who is extraordinarily lucky in so many ways, to try to remember good things. It's just, it's nice perspective. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Some invisible saint has the final say.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And the line about the ancient monks have often said, if you take your own life, you must live it again. It's like, well, okay, great. So that is definitely not in the cards for me. And it's just such an absolutely brilliant line, and just speaks to the genius and the creativity of Chai Pig in general as a lyricist. And I'm really, I see a lot more lines like this coming out in Chris's lyrics over the years. When you think about things like Adventures in Zoocosis, or like Letters to a Young Anus, where he's writing about suicide notes, or the end of his life and stuff like that. It's like, wow, I feel like Chris is in his peak Chai Pig times right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Are there any technical details of your performance that stood out to you, as the drummer who played it? Is there anything that stands out to you about what you had to do to make this song sound good for drums?
I wanted to, when he asked me to play, I was like, okay, am I Am I doing exact copies of the songs? Am I free to do whatever I want? Didn't really have a good vibe of what he wanted, though he did say, you know, just be you. So I did that, but I basically tried to keep it a little, keep it the same. I added a couple things here and there. There's a part in A Wreck in Progress. It's a little, you know, when Chris does his, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I stop a little early, and this is, we haven't even talked about this. So in my head, I had the song arranged. I was listening to whatever was coming out of my headphones and the monitors. But I stopped early near that part. And we never talked about it, but he made it work by doing this thing that he does. And it just came together, and we've never chatted about this. And I guess one day we will, maybe. And I don't know, maybe he doesn't even know. I'm sure he does. He's a genius. He would know. But
amazing.
He never said anything to me. It all worked out perfectly. I wish we could, I don't know if we could hear it or...
Oh, I'll edit it in for sure right here.
Yeah, okay, awesome.